Hello everyone, welcome back to official FBA Shipping and YouTube channel. If you don't know me, my name is Burak Yolga. I'm the founder of Forget Digital Freight Forwarder. I lived in China 8 years and I've traveled more than 50 cities, 400 factories, 50 trade shows, include Hong Kong, China, Taiwan, and the rest of Southeast Asia. The reason why I want to talk to you about today is explaining you how important is the Incoterms. There are many new FBA and e-commerce sellers, they don't know the difference between EXW, FOB, DDP, and DDU. Why these are important for your business is to understand exactly your buying price, your shipping price, and more important, your landing price. As you know, 2021, 2022, it's been a very difficult year for a lot of e-commerce and Amazon sellers. Due to the coronavirus in China, shipping prices increase, FBA Amazon limits decrease, and more importantly, congestions at the port. So it's very important to understand why it is important to understand the Incoterms and how it's going to affect your business. So if you haven't subscribed my YouTube channel, please do so, and you get the latest information and newest videos notifications when you subscribe it. So let's start with the new first channel, and then we go with the first video. Thank you so much. Hello everyone, welcome back. As I mentioned that I'm going to explain you today the Incoterms. Why is it important? I know most of you don't like this topic really, however it's one of the most important topics in international logistics to understand the Incoterms. That affects your directly buying price, your landing price, more importantly, understanding your competition with other competitors. So negotiate the correct Incoterms such as EXW or FOB. Understanding your calculating correct landing cost is one of the most important way to be successful in your business. Asking the right freight code to freight forwarder, understand the shipping process, manage delivery time directly to Amazon FBA or 3PL in Europe, in US, Canada, or any other locations. So please check out my video that where I explain the shipping process step by step, where you're not going to be able to see this anywhere else in YouTube. So please click the link below and see my International Shipping Explained video. So control your supply chain process and make improvements and keep your profit always maximum to understanding the FBA shipping. More importantly, understand the Incoterms, how it's going to affect your FBA business, e-commerce business, and landing costs and saving time and money. So what are the Incoterms? So Incoterms are globally explaining the entire shipping plan and shipping process. So Incoterms are a set of rules that defines the responsibilities of sellers and buyers in logistics. And each Incoterms has its own set of procedure. Most used ones are listed as EXW, FCA, FOB, DDP, and DDU. And most of you think that DDP always either fast C or slow C, so it's also another information that is incorrect. So I have another video that where I explain what is DDP actually. So I will highly recommend you to watch that video. So I'm going to explain you one by one, but not theoretically, but more importantly, practically of your daily life, how you can apply these Incoterms and understanding your costs and more importantly, the shipping process. So Incoterms shouldn't be actually scaring you, and it's more important that it's your daily life, how it's going to affect your business. So X work where you are in charge of the entire shipping cost. So some of my customers are sometimes asking me, what is the Incoterms, what is the EXW FOB, and how much it's going to affect your business, how much it's going to cost you, and who's going to pay and who's going to handle the shipment. So here is, I'm going to explain you actually how it works, but more importantly, this doesn't have to be actually your shipping procedure, but more importantly, the cost of the shipping. So the most common ones are the EXW, FCA, FOB, and DDP. So let me start with the X work. Let's say you're shipping from China coffee mug or coffee cups. So there are a couple of important shipping plans and Incoterms that you should be focusing on. So EXW is something that when you place an order, you are asking the factory the price of the product. So they will be offering you EXW. They can say that EXW $2, and then you're in charge of the China local fees, the pickup from the factory, international shipping, custom clearance in the destination, and the local transportation. So this is the cost of EXW. So the buyer is responsible for everything, every cost, and actually the shipping process. However, there are a lot of great freight forwarders in the world that you will be only tell your freight forwarder to handle your shipping, but most importantly that you need to pay the EXW. So let's say you order 1,000 piece coffee mug, you have 50 boxes that you want to ship out, 1,000 kilogram. So roughly the shipping cost 2022 right now is, I would say for the EXW fees is almost 25 to 30 cents per kilogram. So the reason why I'm telling you is to, when you are asking price to your freight, when you're asking your price to your supplier, you need to be asking what is the EXW price and what is the FOB price, and now you need to compare for the local charges if it makes sense for you to get the price EXW or FOB. So the second one is FCA. It means that the buyer recovers from the origin port. It means that you are going to pay the freight fee as well as the product fee to your supplier, and then they will be taking care of it. FOB is one of the most common one. It means that the buyer recovers and loads the vessel, which means that the ex-work charges, the factory to port, and the local charges in the origin will be paid by your supplier. And more importantly, you don't really need to worry about the local fees and local transportation. Your freight forwarder will be contacting your supplier and asking them to provide the packing documents, the commercial invoice, the custom documents, and handle everything. One of the most common shipping methods recently that we see is DDP. Most of you probably heard about like fast DDP, slow DDP. Obviously, there's either ocean or air. However, one of the most important term that used in the industry is like fast sea or slow sea, but there's no such thing. Actually, what it affects is the shipping time, is the shipping lines transit time. So let's say you're shipping your cargo with a shipping line called EMC or WHL, and their sailing time is actually 16 to 18 days, let's say from Shenzhen or from Ningbo to Los Angeles Port or Oakland Port. If you're using, let's say, Costco or OOCL, maybe their shipping time is 35 to 40 days from port to port. So this is going to affect your shipping prices. So that's why when you ask your freight forwarder, where is my shipment, when it's going to arrive, how much is the per kilogram or per CBM or a full container, please make sure that you guys are also asking the shipping line name. So this is very important, crucial to understand if they're reliable or not. Another one is, so DDP is where you are in charge of actually almost nothing. The seller is responsible for everything. It means that the seller will be paying the China local fee, let's say, the pickup, the ocean freight, tax and duty, and then local delivery to either FBA, Amazon, or 3PL. But there's one thing you need to be careful about: if the freight forwarder or your Chinese supplier is using the correct HS code. There are a lot of companies and factories, they want to save money on the HS code. Let's say you order a neck pillow and then your product is made of cotton, however, you declare it as a polyester, and then the HS code is different, duty tariff is different, so you basically will be paying less tax and duty maybe, or your freight company, but it's going to be your product eventually, and then there's a risk of losing the product or even send the product back to China, and then you may not see your product another 3-4 months. So that's very important. So DDP means duty delivery paid. So this price will be include tax and duty. Another one is DDU. Seller handles everything, but the buyer pays the duty. This is one of the common method that we're using for full containers or large shipment. Let's say for half container, or let's say 2/3 of container. So this is important to explain by your supplier that why are you paying and or how much you're paying the tax and duty. Always ask for the entry summary form. So this is when your shipment is ready. So importance of Incoterms for Amazon FBA sellers are like important to understand the entire process so you can save time and money. Sourcing is an important part of being an Amazon FBA seller. Learning about Incoterms and using them effectively is a crucial part to successful sourcing operation. By determining specific Incoterms to go with, you will save both time and money. So, X-work is the Incoterm where the buyer handles the whole logistic process. During the EXW, the buyer claims the responsibility of the goods in a designated location. Buyer's responsibility of shipping usually starts as soon as the goods are made ready by the supplier from start to end. So the buyer, you are responsible of each step of shipping process. Obviously, when we say that, we're not expecting you to find a truck in China, find a custom clearance agent in China. Freight forwarders are handling everything, but you'll be in charge of the cost. So why is it affecting you? Is let's say you're shipping full container of coffee mugs and you ordered the shipment as an EXW, you'll be paying almost $1,000 to $1,200 for the local charges in China, the custom clearance in China, and more importantly, the truck fee from the factory to the port. So when you're asking the price of your factory for your product, make sure you are asking the right thing, the EXW or the other trade terms. So again, when we come back to the mug example with the EXW, as for our mug example, during your EXW shipment, you'll be responsible for the whole press or the export operation. So the step-by-step is that when we pick up the cargo from the factory, we use a truck to send the shipment to the terminal of the custom. And after the custom clearance is done, it's going with on board of the vessel or the airplane. And the next way is that we do the shipping, the arrival alongside with the ship, and then the destination place and the buyer warehouse. So basically, you will be in charge of the entire shipping cost, not only from port to port, but from factory to the destination. So that's why a lot of Chinese freight companies are charging you very high for maybe pickup, but they're offering very low price for the international shipping. So that you need to understand your exact cost and always ask for a breakdown. So we can continue with the next one. With the EXW, all taxes, duties, custom clearance fees will be provided by the buyer during the EXW shipping. So all the responsibility is given to the importer, and it provides the complete control over the process for the buyer. So during the EXW shipping, the buyer has the flexibility of adjusting their operations to their needs. As buyer will be managing the process, they can always find a better rates, adjusting their timing, and ensure the product is safe. So FCA is free carrier. During FCA, the seller is obligated to deliver the goods to the designated port, and buyer is responsible for all the remaining export process. The buyer will receive the goods that is delivered to the specific port, load the container to a vessel, and handle all the remaining process on their own. So FCA, when it comes to the mug example, as our mug example, your supplier will bring the goods to the designated port and will be rest by handle you. You'll be loading the container to the vessel, delivered to the port. I handle the duty and tax and custom clearance at the destination. With this Incoterm, you will have more flexibility during your export process and have the chance to find better prices of what your supplier provides. So you need to be careful with the FCA because then your factory might be trying to charge you more money for the product that you actually manufactured. So there's a very thin actually ice, I would say, between the FOB, FCA, or EXW prices. You need to make sure that your supplier is not adding up too much for the unit price if they say, let's say FOB, because they need to handle everything in the origin. So FOB, it means free on board. It's one of the most oldest and most used Incoterm by the whole world. One of the reasons why the Chinese companies want to do that is because they are offering the price, and then once they offer the price for the product, they normally build in this extra cost. So it's not like they're just like paying this extra money for you to look cute to you. So that's another reason why you need to be careful. Like whenever you're asking a price, FOB, you You need to ask like actually EXW and FOB price difference. So this way you can understand how much they're giving you difference. So if the factory is offering you EXW and FOB price are exactly the same, then you need to be asking, so why are you offering me the same prices for both ways? Because each unit will cost maybe 20 to 30 cents more expensive for them or FOB. So maybe they're just like being lazy and they don't want to give you the real price of the local charges. So it defines that seller delivers the cargo to the designated port and loads them into a ship. So from that point, all formality and then responsibility of the shipment is transferred over to the buyer. Most of the time, obviously, your freight forwarders handle the shipment, but you need to be aware of the cost of the FOB. So as our more example, your supplier will take care of the responsibility of transferring the goods to the designated port, and from there on, it will be yours to load the cargo into a vessel, book the shipment, and handle every other part of the process. FOB is an important Incoterm to use for when you're not familiar with the set of rules that your supplier's location has. So let's say you're shipping product from China, you want to make sure that the shipment has been picked up and then it goes to the port in the origin, and then you are not paying anything. Any of those charges in your factory will be responsible. So basically, you will be responsible of paying everything from port until the destination. DDP. I'm sure most of you are curious about this. And DDP is seller attends all the costs and the responsibilities of the goods until it reaches the buyer. The seller is accustomed to provide for both export and import fees, duties, and tax. So it is very common right now for e-commerce and Amazon sellers are asking for DDP kilogram price. But why this is a little bit tricky is because generally used by many Amazon FBA sellers, DDP is a great option for many people, providing secured and good prices. It must be considered. However, you need to be careful how long it's going to take your freight company to deliver your shipment. What is the HS code that they're declaring it, if it is a safe or not, or they do undervalue. So eventually, that's actually your money that's tied up, and now you need to make sure that you're asking your freight forwarder your container number where your shipment is inside. So you need to be careful when you do DDP, and I highly do not recommend to use your supplier's freight forwarder. So check out my another video regarding how to ship from China and why you shouldn't be using your supplier's freight forwarder. One of the reasons why I mentioned that you will never be able to get the direct information and direct contact with your supplier's freight forwarder. You always need to have a middleman and then ask them to help you with your shipping price, the shipping time, the transit time. If something goes wrong, you will try to speak to your supplier, and it's not their core business. So you need to be really careful when you're using your supplier's freight forwarder. So fast CDDP, slow CDDP, and transit time. So this is one of the I believe, one of the most unknown situation for a lot of companies and a lot of e-commerce and Amazon sellers. There are two varying options for DDP shipment. One of them is the fast CDDP, another one is slow DDP. While fast DDP, the fastest option to go with, it has higher price when compared to slow DDP. Usually fast DDP has a transit time between 10 to 18 days. So what actually it refers is that the fast or slow is actually the transit time according to the correct shipping line. So slow DDP is between, let's say, 24 to 32 days. Obviously, we are referring this without the destination delays or congestion, origin delays or congestions. Sometimes the COVID breakage happens in different ports, or there are a lot of backlogs, Los Angeles, New York port, Houston port. And these are actually, we're only talking about the sailing time, not the entire shipping time. So that's why you need to speak to your freight forwarders and asking them the shipping line, the sailing time, what is the update of the destination or the origin. So these are something that you should be doing your homework actually. If you're willing to pay more and need to receive your goods faster, fast DDP will be the best choice for you. But it's always have more profitable and safer to plan ahead of your shipments. I personally highly recommend you to ask for your freight code, 7 to 10 days before your shipment is ready. If you have a long window to receive your goods, you can both save time and money by going with slow DDP. So guys, I would like to recommend you another video of mine where I'm explaining you the Amazon FBA check-in process and Amazon Global Logistics, where you will be having a lot of new information regarding the check-in process and Amazon FBA Global Logistics. So please don't forget to watch my video below. So the DT delivery paid is the mug example, as our mug example. During your DDP shipping, everything will be handled by your supplier or logistic provider, and then we will be offering you a fixed price for full container, let's say, or your LCL shipment, or your small cargo express by air or by sea. We will be offering you per kilogram or per CBM prices. Once you book your shipment using DDP, you won't be handling any part of the process. That's the most comfortable way. So we will be handling your pickup, China custom clearance, China local fees, onboarding process, unloading the container from the destination port, take it to our warehouse and either store it in our warehouse or send it to Amazon FBA logistics centers. So it's one of the most common way of using the international logistics and e-commerce and Amazon sellers. So hopefully understanding of DDP is going to help you a lot. So DDU is where your duty delivery unpaid. As close to DDP as it gets, there's slight difference with DDU. Still shipping process of the goods are handled by the seller, but the buyer must pay the duties. Even though the procedure is still handled by seller, DDU has some risks. Buyer must take precise calculation and pay for the exact amount of the tax and duty. I will highly recommend you to check out your HS code, understand your tax and duty, so this way you will be understanding your exact landing cost. The reason why I keep talking about the landing cost is because as an Amazon and e-commerce seller, you always need to be on top of your competition. So understanding your landing cost is one of the most important ways to save money, time, and actually stay on top of your competition. So everything except import duties will be paid by the buyer with DDU shipment. Your supplier still handles every step of your shipment, but you will have to pay the import duties by yourself. So when you're using this, generally, if you have a large cargo, let's say more than 20-25 CBM or a full container, it's most common way to do the DDU. So the best Incoterm option for Amazon FBA sellers. There are many varying Incoterms to go by, and you will have to choose the best one that suits your interests. Managing your supply chain is the talented practice. In order to have great profits, selling on Amazon, you will have to learn how to manage your logistics. And optimizing the cost and ensuring product safety is the must-have as an Amazon FBA seller. I hope this video was helpful, and hopefully I'll see you guys soon. Please feel free to reach out to me whenever you have a question. You can reach out to me by email, by phone, or by WhatsApp and WeChat. Please don't forget to like my video. Thank you so much and see you in the next time.